Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm glad to be here with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about the wokest game that was released this year. And yes, wokest is a word. I know it's going to piss some of you off, but I don't care. That game's Dustborn. So let's cue up the music and we'll get right into it. Alright, so Dustborn, I'm going to take a quick look at SteamDB right now to see, in the last 24 hours, 9 players concurrently, 3 going on. Right now, it's Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ouch. Not doing so good, Dustborn, but Dustborn developer claims that we were never out to provoke, then admits gamers would react negatively to insertion of gender ideology. Of course they would. If these guys haven't figured out gamers yet, I don't know what it's going to take. How many failures it's going to take, how many hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars are going to have to be lost on various projects that promote this garbage. I don't get it, because nobody likes it, okay? Nobody. Yeah, there's a modern audience, okay? Yeah, there are some people that like them, okay? I get it. 9 of them, okay? 83 total in 2 months. That was the maximum concurrent number of players. 83. Wow. So anyway, Ragnar Tornquist, the CEO and founder of Red Thread Games, which recently released Dustborn, attempted some massive damage control regarding the game in a recent interview. Speaking to Gamer.no, Tornquist admitted that he expected there to be a debate over the radical political agenda he inserted into the game, but claimed he never set out to provoke anyone. So he expected a debate over a radical political agenda. So he expected to insert a radical political agenda into a game, but not provoke anyone with it. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. A radical political agenda from the left or the right is going to provoke people. That's this day and age, it doesn't take anything to provoke people politically. So the less of that garbage you have in your game on either side of the board, the better. Make a fun game, make it entertaining, give us some cool characters, some great weapons, fun gameplay, a great loop, and boom, we're happy, we're handing over our money. This garbage? No. 3 players right now. 3. Anyway, he said, yes, but we were never out to provoke, we just wanted to make a game with characters that are different. Congratulations. We didn't think it would be so controversial that a group would fight against a fascist regime. I don't think many people want to live in a police state, and our version of the U.S. is by no means the real America. No, of course it's not. But we hear that word fascist thrown around quite a bit these days. Always from guys that, push a similar agenda that you do, Tornquist. And it's just, it's exhausting at this point. It doesn't even mean anything anymore. And that's the problem, is these words, everybody wants to give words so much power, and that's one of the major themes of this game, is that words have power. But really, words don't have a lot of power. Not in that regard. Now, you can put together a speech that inspires millions of people. You can say some scathing comments and tear somebody down, rip into pieces and all that. Yeah, words do have a certain amount of power, but I'm talking about words like fascist, right? Alt-right, Nazi, all these words, they just don't have the power they used to have, because they've been overused and abused to the point where they're meaningless now. And people don't understand that, but the more you wear something out, the less value it has, right? So that's what's happened with words like that. And everybody's just sick of that kind of narrative. Everybody's sick of hearing it, You're sick of being called a fascist just because you believe in a simple fact of reality in life, and you're a fascist for it. So yeah, we're all tired of it. But anyway, however, this does not appear to be true at all. In an interview with PSU, a representative for the game admitted that the entire concept for it came from Donald Trump's campaign for president of the United States back in 2016. Wow. So yeah, there you have it. The great evil Trump, the most racist man to ever be in the White House, who no one can ever say what a single racist thing that he said. The 25-time convicted felon, twice prosecuted and, or not prosecuted, but what do you call it? Impeached president that was never found guilty of anything. This is the Teflon Don. That's what I call him, the Teflon Don. And by God, I hope he wins this November in less than a month and just goes through Washington like the plague and just rips it to shreds and just tears it apart like he should have done his first time in. But that's a whole other story there. Maybe I'll make a video game based on that. Anyway, the representative revealed the idea behind Dustborn settings and characters was also influenced by a series of political events that deeply affected us all, beginning in the summer of 2016 and continuing until, well, today. As game developers, we wanted to tell a story that felt relevant and thematically timely with a cast of characters that could more accurately represent our player base and setting, and to hopefully have some positive impact on the world in addition to being an entertaining game. So you made something that accurately represented your player base. All 83 of them, I guess. Congratulations. In fact, Tornquist proved himself a liar when he was asked about the game, including gender ideology. He said, "The use of pronouns has become relatively established in games, and we know people could react to that, but it was the reality we wanted to present." He then added, "We don't feel like we've made a game that's primarily about politics. It's more about language and relationships between people." And there's Pax, which means peace in Latin, who is one of the least peaceful lead characters of all times. Lies, manipulates, triggers, yeah, this is a real piece of garbage human being. Anyway, Tornquist's forked tongue was also highly apparent when he was asked if the game was satire. He said, "I think the game speaks for itself. It's over the top in many ways. It's colorful, inspired by comic books, has fight sequences against giant robotic mascots, and it has a sarcastic view of the world. It doesn't take itself very seriously." I have a feeling you guys really took it seriously, though, man. I know how you lefties think. You guys are you're incapable of humor. You don't know how to... You have no nuance to you. Everything's got to be, every point has to be made at the blunt end of a hammer, and it's absolutely ridiculous at this point. And everyone's tired of it, like I said. He elaborated, "I hope people can see the game and understand that it's an alternate world, something that also applies to the story. The game may be a dystopian reflection of the world, but the story is not written for realism. It's done with humor and exaggeration, and it's very much tongue-in-cheek. As noted above, a representative for it previously made it clear it was made in reaction to Donald Trump's campaign for president of the United States back in 2016, and the developer team wanted to reflect that in game through its themes." Oh my God. I almost bought this game just to play through it and shred it, and I had to reconsider, and I did reconsider, and I didn't buy it. And that's because I have made myself a promise, and it's going to be a hard promise to keep in this industry because every now and then someone's going to slip one by me. But I made a promise not to give my money to any company that doesn't share my values. So if you're going to put out garbage like this woke crap, if you're going to put your pronouns in games, if you're going to, destroy old characters and reimagine them for the modern audience and stuff like that, well, you're not getting my money. And I just heard of a new game that's coming out, that's been announced, that's a sequel to a game that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm so upset over it because it looks like it's going down this same route, and I'm not gonna, they're not gonna get my money. I'm sorry, man. It's a game I would have bought day one, but we'll talk about that in a later video. Anyway, furthermore, YouTuber Madam Savvy shared that those themes involve bullying and manipulating people who do not support woke ideology and its destructive agenda. She wrote on X, "You want to tell a story about the power of words. Why did you choose to use words of hate and hurt for the main character? Why are we forced to use words of violence against our own friends? These are unavoidable moments no matter what you do." She questioned, "You say you want to build a world where everyone can feel safe. Then why did every single person we come across have their life ruined by the player, character, and the group? Why aren't the powers of Pax something like salve or healing? Why is everything based on manipulation?" Those are excellent questions. She continued, "Where was the love when we bullied Fred and lied about her? Pax's mother grows opium for a cult that's never mentioned again. Is that love? Why would she put her own people in danger by growing opium of all things? It's a highly addictive drug, and it can be used to keep people compliant. I'm sure you understand what I'm insinuating. She then reiterated, is it friendship when we are forced to manipulate our friends? To bully Theo? Why can't we prank Sai when she prays, but we can prank Theo, who has done nothing wrong? For you to write what you did, you must like modern SpongeBob Squidward torture episodes where he doesn't do anything to deserve it. Yeah. Anyway, absolutely crazy. So here is a message from Red Thread to the community here. Since we first announced Dustborn, we've read your comments and listened to your feedback, hopes, and wishes for the game. Over the past 4 years, our team has poured their hearts into telling a story that's deeply meaningful to us. A story about the power of words, about building a world where everyone can feel safe, about love, friendships, and robots, of course. We expected Dustborn to spark conversation and debate, and looked forward to engaging with our players in a positive and constructive fashion. You guys knew what was coming. Don't tell me anything. You're lying otherwise. Anyway, unfortunately, that conversation has been drowned out by a tidal wave of hate and abuse. Hate and abuse. I'm sure there was some. I have no doubt there was some of that in there. But I guarantee you most of the tidal wave was criticism. Could have been heavy-handed criticism. I gave some heavy-handed criticism. But I also gave respect right from the start for this game, because I said, congratulations, you guys made a game for the modern audience. You made a game for your community. You did not try to hide it behind, a veil of shadows or anything like that so that it kind of springs up on people. They think it's something else. No, it was straight up in your face. You're going to hate this game unless you're the modern audience. You didn't take an existing IP or old characters and reinvent them for the, modern audience or anything like that. You created something completely new, a completely new IP. And for that, you have my respect. And that's it. I mean, it failed abysmally, but hey, at least it failed on its own merits. And looking at that, I think Dustborn can be something that the industry can look at from any angle. Any company, no matter how large or small, can look at Dustborn and go, wow, that's how bad it can be. Here's a company that worked 4 years to sell a game that had 83 concurrent players at one point. And I think that was in the first weekend of it being released. Okay? Yikes. That's bad. This was released roughly at the same time Concord was released, which only had a couple thousand players. Okay? And that was a big Sony game. That was a 5v5 hero shooter. Shut down within 2 weeks. Money refunded by Sony, and Sony doesn't do that. Utter insanity. Anyway, we welcome thoughtful feedback and respectful criticism. We embrace discussion and debate, but we have zero tolerance for hate speech, harassment, and threats of any kind. Those who engage in such behavior will be removed from our community. To everyone else, thank you for coming on this journey with us. Your support means everything, and your constructive feedback continues to push us to learn and evolve together. Let's continue building a world where everyone can feel valued and empowered to share their stories. Yeah. So anyway, and Savvy calls me out. You haven't engaged with anyone, though. Your own developer threw hate at the concept of crowdfunding, despite you lot being funded by the taxpayer dollars from several sources. That's crazy, too. This was funded by government sources. I think one was arts and education or something over wherever these guys are from. Yeah. Absolute stupid. Anyway, unsurprisingly, after repeatedly lying, Tornquist decided to project onto his critics, telling Gamer.no, it seems like people twist everything we say with malicious intent. They've created a narrative that Red Thread is corrupt and making propaganda. But the fact is that we've made a game we want to talk about and share with others. It's not for everyone, and they don't have to play it. And they didn't. The game quite literally is political propaganda, as Madam Savvy noted on X. I'm not too sure how people with powers who admit to being con artists can be oppressed, or people with money. Gnome is rich, and PAX openly manipulates people to avoid situations. You are forced into triggering your friends, and none of your actions cause any consequences, as they'll always reassure you that you did the right thing. She continued, Interestingly enough, Justice is never actually shown to do anything wrong. When you visit your own mother, she's running a cult in the woods, and like any cult who needs to make money, they grow illegal drug plants. Opium, to be exact. It's also interesting how we are forced to bully and lie about Fred, the barefoot ginger queen who just wants us to leave. If the mother's so caring and good, why would she put her people in harm's way by growing opium? Fred is left to be reprogrammed, and we never hear back from her. I hope she found some shoes. The review also fails to mention how much about the memes and disinformation, or rather the fact that the player character is the source of disinformation. It also fails to mention that we are also forced into bullying our friend Theo, who is a good Catholic Mexican, while he's having a minor crisis of belief. She shared. On the other hand, you aren't allowed to mess with or bully the sex-obsessed, overweight Sai, the artist named after the paint tool Sai, when she engages in Muslim prayer. Oh, so our Vitiligo driver is Muslim? I couldn't figure it out because she has this weird ambiguous look. It's like, are you black? Are you Hispanic? Are you American Indian? What are you? You're Muslim. Cool. That's even better. Anyway, Kotaku, yeah. She also talks about, I'm surprised you didn't touch on the pro-life aspects of the game. 4 months pregnant and something you don't learn until hour 8 of the game, assuming you didn't read promo content like me. When the pregnancy is finally acknowledged, suddenly everyone knows. Anyway, Andre Enderjar of Midnight's Edge shared his own personal opinion that the Norwegian Film Institute's panel that approved the grant money should at the very least be questioned and likely replaced. From where I'm standing, the commercial response to this game and the instant aversion to it was entirely predictable. And if those in the panel didn't see that coming a mile away, then perhaps it should be questioned if they, resume aside, are too out of touch with actual gamers to serve on any such panel. Made in Norway, right? I don't know how you could have approved this money for this kind of a project, honestly. I mean, the political climate is what it is. Even 4 years ago, 2020, right? Right around the time the election was going on here, Trump was finishing his first term, and, Biden was hiding in a basement campaigning, and COVID was running rampant, and the whole world was insane, and people were this was the biggest cluster in the history of the United States, and I hope it's never repeated. But even 4 years ago, this stuff was already getting tiresome with people. People were already getting tired of it, So, there's no excuse for this thing to have ever been made, or to have been funded by governments. I mean, my God. There was another game that was funded by the government I heard of, something about a cat that was supposed to be force you to comply with the government or something and not question things and all that. I'll have to look into that one again later on. But anyway, nevertheless, Tornquist continued his gaslighting, this time addressing the game's financial success. He said, Dustborn is not a flop. Hold on a minute. Okay, Dustborn is not a flop. I just wanted to make sure I didn't read that number wrong. The game has received mixed reviews, but also a lot of positive feedback. Has it got mixed reviews? I don't know. We'll have to look at it later. 6629. Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. I would call that mixed. But also a lot of positive feedback. Those who actually play it seem to enjoy it. Dustborn isn't selling as much as we would like, but we're proud of it and think it's a good game. Congratulations, Tornquist. I'm glad. HilariouslyGamer.no then shares that Tornquist does not even have sales data for the game. The outlet states the publisher, Quantic Dream, holds the detailed sales figures, so Tornquist doesn't have full oversight yet. Regardless, Tornquist declares even though it's not an immediate success, it has sold far more than what people are saying online. I could say that. I guess they're just buying it maybe and putting it away as if it's selling, it's not selling and being played. It's being boxed up for, I don't know, maybe in 100 years it'll be worth something. He then admits our internal goals for Dustborn haven't been met, but that doesn't mean it's a flop. 83 freaking players. Stop. God, the cope with this guy is utterly astounding. In fact, he goes on to claim that it could take years for the game to find an audience. Yeah, it could take months and years for story-driven games like this to find their audience, so we're not dissatisfied. This is never going to find an audience, dude. Absolutely never. Anyway, Ragnar Tornquist is a perfect example of the 3 laws of an SJW. For a quick reminder, as explained by Vox Day, and SJWs always lie. Taking down the thought police, the 3 laws of SJWs are always lie, always double down, and always project. And bing, bang, boom, he has done all that. Furthermore, he's also clearly part of the seething artistic class, as defined by novelist Isaac Young. Young shared in a recent video that this class wishes to pervert all film, TV, and literary achievement for the sake of applauding themselves and humiliating their enemies, and in this task they have unequivocally succeeded. We've seen a lot of that. He also notes that because he's part of this class, he will not be able to produce truly great art, given he cannot conceptualize anything except through politics, as demonstrated in Dustborn. Modern artists must swear their souls to towing the eternal party line, which itself is just narcissism. That, or they make their work so brain dead that it couldn't possibly be a threat to anyone. That is why the woke will never produce a great work of art. To do so would require believing in something beyond power, beyond politics, and the woke cannot conceptualize anything except through politics. What do you guys think of all this, man? Tornquist sounds like a total clown. This company is going to be gone within, I don't know, that studio will be gutted within 3 months, probably 6 at tops. Yeah, they'll be gone. Tornquist will be on the streets just cussing and blaming the white guy for not buying his game. You know, Norwegian director named Tornquist. That's what's going to happen here. Again, I admire them for trying it out and all that, but let Dustborn be a lesson for all of you studios out there. This is cancer. This is toxic. Nobody wants it. If you want to sell 83 copies of a game, this is how you do it. If you want to sell 10 million, go check out Black Myth Wukong, and they'll show you how it's done. That game was released the same week, I believe this was, and reached 10 million copies in just a couple days, and it nearly topped the charts. Let's look it up real quick. I think he got second place all-time. Oh, that's not it, damn it. Yeah, it got nearly the number one spot of all time as far as concurrent players at 2.415. I think the number one spot was it Pugby or Rust or something like that? One of those big multiplayer games. But as you can see, still almost 100,000 players right now, and almost 200,000 still in the last 24 hours. It's been out, when did it come out exactly? A month ago. Boom. And yeah, it's declined, as all single-player games will do, but still, it's absolutely done fantastic. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.